Hey guys, how you doing? Hopefully you're doing okay. I'm going to play part of this video in just a moment. I'm only going to play the first half, around 45 seconds. No further than that. Why? Well, because a murder takes place. I'm not quite sure of YouTube's policy, so don't think I really want to be showing murders in action, but I will play the 45 seconds prior to that. There is a link in the description to this Twitter page, Uncle Sam's Misguided Children at Uncle Sam's Tribe. So I mention that, because it's the right thing to do, using their content, as it were. So I'm going to play this in a second, and I'm also going to read through this article here. And just before I play it, I'll give you a very quick overview. So essentially, this is an armed robbery at a convenience store in Tupelo, I believe in Mississippi, if I have that correct, if my pronunciation is correct. Tupelo in Mississippi. And the guy in the olive hoodie, I'll show you a picture of him up close. There he is. The guy, the scumbag, is an armed robber. So he's got a gun in his hand there. He's got an extended magazine. And we'll see him threaten the cashier. So the cashier is called Parmvir Singh. Let me show you his name. Parmvir Singh. Where's his name? There we go. The cashier, the clerk, is called Parmvir Singh. And what happens, we'll see in a second as I play this, but the guy that's in the process of robbing the store jumps over the counter. Oh, he instructs the clerk to back away from the cash desk. He does. The clerk complies. The clerk kneels down on the ground. You can see he's a little bit in pain with his leg. Then he sits on the floor whilst the armed robber hops over the counter, strategically standing behind Parmvir Singh, strategically standing behind Parmvir, and then he pulls the trigger, shooting Parmvir Singh in the back of the head, executing him. Following that, the part that I won't show, the scumbag armed robber murderer then stays in the scene, still on camera. He rips something from underneath the cash desk. Presumably, he believes that to be the DVD recorder, the security cam recorder. He was wrong. So that's what happened. So it's an absolute execution, and thankfully he has been detained, and he's been held on no bond. He's been granted no bond, and he's facing murder charges. So I'll play this video, but I do have to stop at the 45-second mark. Parmvir says, no problem, no problem. He's instructed to get on the floor. You take it all. Okay, I have to pause it at that point. So Parmvir hands him some more money, a stack of bills, which he promptly takes. Then I have to pause it here because within the next 2 seconds, the scumbag armed robber shoots Parmvir Singh in the back of the head, kills him. So we're going to have a look through the article. A Tupelo detective said an armed robbery suspect walked up behind a compliant convenience store clerk on Sunday morning and shot him in the back of the head. Chris Copeland, 26 years of age, of Moore Avenue, Tupelo, was formally charged with capital murder on Tuesday morning. During his initial appearance, the judge ordered him to be held without bond. So well done, judge. One of the detectives said the security video from inside the Chevron Food Mart at the corner of Cliff Gookin Boulevard and South Thomas Street showed a man wearing distinctive clothing walk into the store at around 9:30 a.m. on September the 11th. The detective said that the suspect can be seen pulling a handgun out of his waistband and pointing it at the clerk, Parmvir Singh. Here's a quote from the detective. The clerk is very gracious and even gave him a stack of money that he didn't ask for. He opened the safe for him and gave him a bank bag. The video shows that the suspect ordered Parmvir Singh to the floor. Parmvir complied, sitting on the floor. The suspect can then be seen jumping over the counter. The suspect then walked up behind Mr. Singh and, at point-blank range, executed him. According to the detective, the video shows the suspect standing over Parmvir's body to retrieve the spent shell casing. So the armed robber shot Parmvir dead and then picks up the shell casing, try to hide the evidence. He then looked at the security camera, ripped out what he thought was the DVD recorder box, and fled the store. Before the robbery, the scumbag armed murderer was seen inside the Dollar General store across the road. On their security camera, he could be seen wearing the same olive hoodie, yellow t-shirt, and colourful pajama bottoms. An employee at that store recognized the scumbag and identified him for police. The armed murderer, who said he's been living on the streets since last December, has prior felony convictions for burglary of an inhabited dwelling and 2 counts of burglary of an automobile. Tupelo city prosecutor said the crime was outrageous, cold, and monstrously barbaric. He is surely a danger to the community, and with that, the prosecutor called for the scumbag to be held without bond. Thankfully, the judge agreed, and the scumbag has been held without bond. Parmvir was carried to the North Mississippi Medical Center emergency room in grave condition. He was pronounced dead about 6 hours after he was shot. Because of the security video at the 2 stores, the suspect was identified. A search warrant was executed, and seemingly on Sunday, the suspect approached officers and he was detained without incident. So it seems like he turned himself in. So he's being charged with aggravated assault, armed robbery, and violation of his probation issues. Since Parmvir's death, the charges have been upgraded to capital murder. In Mississippi, a capital murder conviction has only 2 possible sentences: life without parole or death. So I applaud Mississippi. That's the right approach. Life without parole or death for this guy here, who is clearly guilty. Again, I can't play the full video. There is a link in the description. I've got to stop it at the 45-second mark because it's on camera. The guy's been identified. The scumbag is on another store's camera. There's no question that this guy is guilty. It's on camera. We see him literally pull the trigger and shoot Parmvir in the back of the head. Completely unnecessary. Parmvir was being fully compliant, posing no threat, no danger, sitting on the floor as instructed, reassuring the murderer that he was not trying to disrupt, that he was being fully compliant. And despite that, he has his life taken away from him. So with that, I'm going to wrap up, but I have to say, I hope this guy's life is taken away from him. I would go for the death penalty. I know a lot of people prefer life in jail because there's suffering with that. But I do worry about that because the suffering isn't guaranteed. Some people enjoy being in jail. This guy was homeless. Maybe being in jail is not a problem for him. Maybe, he'll get his meals, 3 meals a day. He'll get shelter. Maybe he'll make some buddies. He can, carry on with a life. Not a good life, but a life. At the taxpayer's expense. So for me, I would go for the death penalty. Having said that, I am aware that with the death penalty comes all of these appeals, which are expensive, and that can be extremely costly to the taxpayer, even more so than incarceration. So, I don't know, it's just a terrible situation all around. Frankly, in my opinion, the solution is not to pay any level of respect to these scumbags. These scumbags don't pay any level of respect to society. Society don't owe them anything. I would drag them. I'm probably not allowed to say what I would do, but, I would invest in a couple of small little pieces of brass, and I will send them to this guy in the back of his head swiftly and just chuck him in a pit. Chuck him in a pit, pour concrete over him. Pardon me, piss on his grave. Done. See you later. Never to be spoken of again. Something along those lines. So I'm going to wrap things up here at this point, guys. What an absolutely hideous incident. What an absolutely hideous murder. Completely unnecessary, completely uncalled for. Full condolences to Parmvir Singh's family. They must be absolutely distraught. I'm not aware of a GoFundMe. If you guys are, point me in the right direction. I'll happily update the comments, or I'll pin your comment or such. What a terrible shame. So again, I'm not going to play the full video, but there is a link should you feel the need to. I'm going to wrap things up here, guys. Take care.